This is Coach Chris Holtman. You're listening to Drive the Lane podcast.
Drive the Lane podcast. Getting back to our roots today, we have an exclusive Ohio State basketball episode, including an interview with former Ohio State assistant and current Memphis Grizzlies assistant, Scoonie Penn. Full disclosure, we asked him a couple questions about the Grizzlies, but this is a Ohio State basketball episode sponsored by High Street Tees. They make our shirts, and we want you to go and buy our shirts. Buy them for Valentine's Day for your loved ones, and use our discount code DTL15 for 15% off your entire order on High Street Tees. These shirts are awesome. If you give them to your girlfriend or boyfriend, they might just start straight up crying right in front of you out of pure joy. What do you think about that, Joe? Tears if you get our shirt?
I think first and foremost, Scoonie Penn is most notably a former Ohio State basketball player.
Right.
Went to a Final Four.
Right.
Two-time player of the year. Big time. Anyway. Yeah. They'll cry about the T-shirt stuff. Yeah. They'll cry. Sorry.
Well, I was just more focusing on the last couple of years, which is why his name was back to quote unquote relevancy within the Ohio State world.
Real name is?
Is it like Leon? James. Is it like Leon James Scoonie Penn?
James Scoonie Penn.
I think there's two, on Wikipedia. I think there's two.
Me and Robbie Rucky, we would call him James on occasion. Anyway, back to the shirts.
Back to the shirts. If you get them for your loved ones, you will see your loved ones crying out of pure joy. Literally crying. So go to highstreettees.com/DTL. Use our promo code DTL15 and buy the shirts, and we will love you. In the name of Valentine's Day, we will love you. I think it's safe to say. Let's get to this episode. We got a lot to digest. Buckle up and drive the lane.
All right, fresh off a 15-hour trip to Wisconsin and back, which usually takes about 4 hours total driving time. We are the Drive the Lane podcast. I'm Joey Lane. With me, as always, is Andrew Zolden. Andrew did not come with me. He was in Columbia, Missouri at a different college than I was at.
Where the Missouri Tigers actually took care of business this weekend and beat Arkansas.
Okay. Well, we also Ohio State won on the road. If you told me at the beginning of the week they were going to go 1-1 against Michigan, Wisconsin, both on the road, everyone in the world would take that. So.
What would you have thought the win would have been, though?
Michigan is terrible. It's hard to win, and it's hard. They're not terrible, but it's way harder to win at the Kohl Center than it is to win at Michigan.
What'd you think about from today's game?
I mean, I don't know. We were the first 10 minutes of the game. I was like, oh my God, we're gonna win. We're playing so well. The defense looks great. We're knocking down shots. And then poof, 16-0 run to end the half. I mean, that's just a 16-0 run. I mean, that's just insurmountable.
If you weren't watching the game and you were following on your phone, if you looked,
you would have refreshed twice, and we would have been down 10, and then we would have been tied, down 8, down 10, down 18, all in
So I was watching the game on my phone, and then I went to get some food with 3 minutes left in the first half, and I refreshed when I got to the place I was getting food, and they were down 18.5. So
yeah.
It's just this is just such an up and down team who, as we tweeted earlier, has not had a win streak of longer than 3 games since starting 9-0. But that's the nature of the Big Ten. You don't win on the road, but they did it this week.
The only team that hasn't had a 2-game losing streak since the Big Ten started is Illinois, but they just lost to Maryland, so they could have a 2-game losing streak if they lose their next game. And
yeah,
every team will have a 2-game losing streak.
We dropped the ball on Illinois by calling them frauds.
Hey, the season is young.
The season is young. Well, it's not young.
The season is young.
Big game against Rutgers on Wednesday, but let's talk about that.
Is it at Rutgers or at home?
At home.
For who?
Ohio State. I was saying Ohio State has a big game.
Illinois.
Ohio State has a big game at home against Rutgers.
I thought we were talking about Illinois.
But before we get to that, we should talk. It wasn't all bad this week, as we discussed. The Michigan game was freaking awesome.
We've won 3 out of our last 4. We just came off a 3-game winning streak.
The Michigan game.
God.
The Michigan game.
You're not supposed to go into Wisconsin and win. They made 14 threes, which is the second most threes they've made all year. Brevin Pritzel, who sounds like a knockoff pretzel company, had 20 points. You can't. I mean, the dude averages probably closer to like 6. I mean, when he scores 20 points, I'm guessing they've never lost.
I think Ohio State, Lenardi has them right now as a 7 seed. I think they're going to move between 10 and 6 for the remainder of the season. I think you're looking at a tournament team, but I don't think you're looking at a team that's going to be, talent-wise, we believe that they're higher than a 6 seed. But record-wise and what's kind of happened in the second half of the season, I don't think you're going to see a team that goes into the NCAA, unless they have a big run, incredible run, which it might take an incredible run depending on seeding in the Big Ten tournament. But I think you're going to see a 7 to 10 seed in March Madness, which maybe you're the favorite in a game. Who knows? But it'll be interesting because we could see the Villanova team in March Madness, and they could get to the Sweet 16.
We could also see,
we could
see Baylor. We could see Stephen F. Austin.
I'm saying we could see the Ohio State team how they played against Villanova, and they could make it to the Sweet 16. Or we could see the Ohio State team that played at Penn State, and they could be a first-round loss. It's an up and down season, but that's it. Roller coaster season.
Yeah, it's crazy to talk about the NCAA tournament. It's just, I look at it as from a player's perspective, from if I was in the program, like the last thing on our minds would be, and I'm assuming this is the truth now, be thinking about the NCAA tournament, because you just, at this point in the year when it's been such a roller coaster like you're talking about, you just got to think about, like, take each game for what it is, and you're just trying to win that one game and keep going on one-game winning streaks and stuff. And I think that this is just a massive, massive week for Ohio State, not only for the tournament, but also just for their psyche. You got to win games at home against teams you're supposed. I'm sure they'll be favored in both games against Rutgers and Purdue this week. So
Purdue is such a confusing team.
I don't know. They're just so bad on the road, but they were so great against Indiana. But that's a rivalry game, and it's in the same state, so it's really a road game. I don't know. They probably bust there, didn't fly. That's probably what it is. They didn't fly. It's probably. But I don't know. If people are being negative about Ohio State, I haven't even got a chance to look at Twitter really because, like I said, I was in the freaking car all day today, and there's just like not a ton of cell service. But if Ohio State wins this game against Wisconsin, we probably would have been ranked in the top 25.
Yeah, exactly.
People would shut their mouths about this team. I got people tweeting at me saying, "What would you say to someone who thinks Holtman should be fired?" I'm like I don't even respond.
That's dumb.
Stop. Like, the sky's not falling.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I do think in years past, there's no way at this point in the season the NCAA tournament is going through your mind. But I almost feel like, they're not fighting to win the Big Ten right now, is the thing. They really are fighting to get a better seed in NCAA tournament. In years past, you're fighting for maybe a higher seed in the Big Ten tournament. You're maybe trying to win the Big Ten regular season, which is a little different than what you were used to the last 2 years with Holtman, especially the year with Keita. I think maybe there's not more focus from the coaches on the NCAA tournament, but that is really the goal, is to make sure that you position yourself to get into the NCAA tournament at this point when you're not looking at a Big Ten regular season championship.
Yeah, if you take it a step back and look big picture, and you don't think about, okay, we just have to beat Rutgers on Tuesday or whenever they play them, Wednesday, I have no idea. Then you're thinking of, okay, how we got to make sure that we don't have to play in the first 4 games in the first
2 games,
first
4 teams,
in the Big Ten tournament, and how can we, get a favorable matchup, I guess, in the NCAA tournament, whatever that looks like. I don't know. It's just hard. The beginning of the year was like so exciting when you're talking about the NCAA tournament because you're talking about, okay, are we going to get, are we going to be playing close to home? Are we going to have a 1 seed, which is like, 1 seeds go to the Sweet 16 every single time, So I don't know. It's just
right now
they're playing better basketball, and that's all that really matters.
Right now, and this means close to nothing, but just an interesting thing to look at is right now in Ohio State's little mini region that Lenardi has predicted, which means nothing. It's just interesting what it is. It's Ohio State 7, Rhode Island 10, West Virginia 2, Montana 15. In Cleveland, which sets up
funny.
a potential West Virginia, Ohio State, Cleveland rematch.
First, we would have to get past Fats Russell.
It is a funny scenario.
Do that shit on purpose.
Right.
Already does that shit on purpose.
But if you look at the other Big Ten teams, like Michigan's a 9 seed, but they'll probably drop again. Maryland
they just beat Michigan State.
It's so confusing because they'll probably stay.
Yeah,
they'll probably
they
stay.
have livers, they're really, really good. When they
Yeah.
don't have livers, they're really, really bad. How about Xavier Simpson?
Kyle Young's jersey should go in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
The ripped jersey. Have you ever seen that?
No.
A rip. Obviously, you've seen like a rip.
Yeah, like a rip by the armpit,
by the sleeve,
or like
LeBron ripped his sleeves off. But you never see just
Luka
like in the
ripped it himself.
But you never see
Trevor
just like in
Thompson
the middle of a
ripped it
jersey.
himself.
How does that even happen?
He grabbed that shit
Yeah.
and ripped it off.
Yeah.
Like, should we talk about the Michigan game a little bit? Well, let's talk about the Michigan
We
game.
I mean, we have been. We could talk about the Indiana game a little bit too. It's hard, especially because this is coming out on a Monday and the game was on a Sunday. It's hard to kind of even think about 6 days ago.
Okay,
but
so
that was a great game to hang your head on.
So quickly, we can talk about Indiana game. We took care of business. We're a better team than Indiana. We proved it. It was never in doubt pretty much the entire way. I was honored at halftime as a captain, and I was in a suite with all the other former captains and barely watched any of the game because there was, there's popcorn and there was drinks and lots of different players like Matt Terwilliger and Matt Sylvester, who have little tiny kids running around in there.
Were Diebler's kids
Diebler,
there?
Diebler was in a different suite, but he was there with his little munchkins, and it was a blast. But we took care of business. It was never really in doubt. They barely covered the spread, which was hilarious because they were up like 15 all game. It was.
What was
great.
the spread? Do you remember?
It was like 7.5. And they won by 9, I think. Because me and my dad were joking about it when Indiana made a 3, like right at the end of the game. We were like, oh no. But in terms of the Michigan game, that was Tuesday, so like that's basically a week from when this is coming out. That game was so awesome because it's so rewarding to win those types of games. I think I said that after the Cincinnati game. It almost feels better to win a game when neither team is scoring a lot. Both teams are really physical. It's like the battle of the bronze. Like
it feels better. It feels better after, but during it's pretty stressful.
Well, yes, but yeah. But that's why it feels better because you feel exactly like.
But how would you compare that feeling to and we always bring this game up because it's the best game ever, the Villanova game, where you just demolish a team that in the last 3 years has won 2 championships. 4 years won 2 championships.
And that's a home in front of your home crowd. And but there's something about winning on the road in those battles, especially against Michigan, who we consider a rival, obviously. It's just more satisfying and rewarding. Whereas the win against Villanova is awesome and you want to party. The win after Michigan is like hell yeah, like let's take a nap. I don't know. It was just so awesome because that's a game that you don't have to win because it's hard to win on the road. You don't have to win it. You're not expected to win it. But when you have a chance, you better capitalize on it. And they absolutely did. Made some clutch free throws at the end. Kyle Young was awesome. Caleb was incredible. I don't think it's a secret or a coincidence that when Caleb plays really well, we win. Today against Wisconsin, Caleb did not play well, and we lost.
No.
But yeah, that Michigan game was awesome, and just oh god, it was so fun.
It's weird because I feel like Kyle Young 4-point games and Kyle Young 10-point games are such a big difference. Even though they may win by more than that 6-point difference or whatever, it's like when he gets his points are so important or when he'll grab a rebound. And usually if he has 10 points, it's because Wesson's having a better game and they're playing more to him and the lane is more open for offensive rebounds and putbacks and stuff like that, which is it's weird where he would have more points when Wesson has more points. But if you look at past games, the better that Wesson plays, the better stats-wise that Kyle Young plays.
Yeah. I guess what that boils down to, in my opinion, is when you're kind of like what I was talking about before, when the role players, when they play really well, I mean, you tend to win games. Because you you expect from your stars that they're consistent and are going to give you whatever they're averaging every single night. And then you have a guy like Justin Ahrens scored 12 points. Like, that's 12 points that you might not have gotten. And that just proves not only that the individual's playing well, but the team's playing well. And things are rolling. And it's the same thing with Kyle. It's the same thing with freaking Trevor Anderson, who had, 10 points or whatever today against Wisconsin. I mean, there's no way that if Brevin Pritzel and Trevor Anderson combine for 30 that they're going to lose ever.
Yeah.
Just like if Kyle Young and Justin Ahrens combine for 25, we're not going to lose probably.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same kind of deal. And Kyle is the barometer of our hustle, our toughness, all that stuff is it shows up in Kyle's box score sometimes it doesn't. But, if Kyle has 12 points, like, it's not because he made 4 threes. It's because he had 3 offensive rebounds and 2 putbacks and a couple of fast break dunks, and
I think
proves something.
I think a lot of the putbacks and a lot of his points come when there's a lot of clutter in the lane, and he finds the ball in his hands. Like when Wesson's taking a lot of threes. Like today he didn't take a lot, but he took 4 threes. There's not a lot of short rebounds for Kyle Young off of threes. But when Wesson's inside, he can find him better. He may miss short, and Kyle's like those big offensive rebounds don't come for Kyle Young as much as on threes, because he really makes shout out threes above high, because he really makes a living inside the paint. And another thing I want to say about today's game, small silver lining, maybe a bronze lining. I thought E.J. Liddell played pretty well in his minutes that he was in, and I think he could be a valuable asset, definitely, moving forward this season, but definitely his career at Ohio State. I'm very much looking forward to seeing the end product.
Yeah.
And today, obviously, such a small sample size, he just gets in there, he plays hard, defensive weapon.
Yeah, the best part of the game was in the last minute when they're like, just like every team, they give their walk-ons the ball and get out of the way. Even though it was only like 14 points. Wisconsin's walk-ons are really good players, though. One of them is from our area. Played high school at Fenwick High School, which is, 30 minutes from us or whatever. And he was a really, really good high school player. So it's just they've always had really good players that come in at the end of the game. And today, a guy drove down the lane, and E.J. Liddell came over and volleyball spiked it into like the third row. And I looked at my dad and I was like, "Oh man, doesn't matter if you're winning by 100." Or losing by 100, that is the worst feeling ever. But, yeah, EJ, he's shown some promise. You're a very positive guy. I looked at it like he missed like 4 wide-open layups.
Yeah.
And you just have to, like, if you want to win on the road, you got to shoot. We were like 2 for our first 7 in the lane. Like, you can't do that and win.
Dwayne Washington also having 6 points versus, you can't always look at the box score, but when you're leading scorer in a win against Michigan, or he wasn't leading scorer, Caleb was leading scorer, right? But he had like 18 or something.
Yeah, he had like 14.
When your guy off the bench that scores more than he normally does in a win, there's obviously it's probably going to be a loss when he scores under 8 points on the road. You need Dwayne Washington to step up. You really need him to step up in every game. Realistically, he needs to step up in every game for this team to be really good. But in a game where Caleb's not getting anything going and no one's really doing a whole lot of scoring, and you don't have DJ Carton right now, they just need a really consistent 10 to 14 points from Dwayne Washington every game, I think, moving forward. And I think they're either going to get that and the game's going to be close, or they're not going to get that and it's going to really fall heavily on the starters to score a lot. Yeah,
I think what the problems that Ohio State has right now, and its problems is it's only a problem because, we were so good at the beginning of the year, but the problems boil down to inconsistency, and the inconsistency comes from a couple of things, I think. I think first and foremost, you got to look at the 2-point field goal percentage, because especially when your best player is your center, a lot of the offense is run through him, so our offense is humming when our 2-point field goal percentage is high. So, obviously when a 2-point field goal percentage is low, we don't shoot pull-ups. This team, we don't have guys, maybe Dwayne Washington and Luther and C.J. Walker are the only people that'll shoot a pull-up, like maybe Dre. But other than that, it's layups and threes. So the 2-point percentage is basically layups. They're hooks from E.J., Kyle, and obviously Caleb. They're, mid-range post-up, turnaround fadeaways for Caleb. You know, like the 2-point field goal percentage is so important for our offense just because of the personnel that we have. That is a main reason why I think the offense has been so inconsistent. You got to capitalize on 2-point field goals. So we obviously, you know, you got to shoot well everywhere, but for us, we have such a huge emphasis on getting into the paint, whether that's paint touches via the drive, the pass, like a backdoor cut, or obviously a post up. That's probably first and foremost. That's how you know. That's how you know when we're playing well, is when we're shooting well from 2-point, from 2-point field goal percentage. I think the other thing is, and this is, you know, very talked about on Twitter, I guess these days. People just shoot really well against us from 3, and like even today, I don't know what the final tally was. My dad looked up at the 3-point percentage. He was like, "Oh my God, they're not even shooting 15% from 3." And I said, "Dad, it doesn't really matter when, you know, if you go 20 for 60, 23s is a lot in college basketball.
Yeah.
Like obviously that's not a great percentage. Like today, you know, they were like 12 for like 26 or something. He's like, "Oh my God, that's not even 50%." I'm like, "That's still pretty darn good. You shoot 26, you better make 12, or else you're probably not in the game." And they were beating us pretty good at that point.
Yeah,
so
they made 12.
A lot of teams tend to shoot really well against us. I don't know if that's a coincidence. I think it's a coincidence because all 4 years I was at Ohio State, it seemed like guys would come into the shot and shoot really well. We'd go on the road and we'd face I remember we went to Maryland and they had their highest scoring game ever. We went to, the Kohl Center today. Wisconsin had their second most threes of the year. We went to, what was the other game? We played at Indiana. Rob Finney made 3 threes all year. He made 3 threes in the first 3 minutes of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just stuff like that. There was another game. Like I remember we played Creighton last year at Creighton, and the guy hadn't shot a 3 all year and made 2 against us. You know, It's just like stuff like that just seems to happen. And one thing that we always talk about, at least Holtman always talks about when we go through personnel is, you know, we say this guy's shooting 22% from 3. He's not a 3-point shooter, but we can't dare him to shoot, which basically means if you're a Division I basketball player and you have a wide open shot, you better make it because you're a Division I basketball player. Everyone can make a wide open practice jump shot. You know, like we didn't even like Xavier Simpson last year when he wouldn't even shoot threes. We wouldn't even dare him to shoot because that's a practice shot. And of course he was banging threes against us, you know, even on Tuesday. But I think it's not from lack of effort, and it's probably a lack of detail. You know, you got to be a step faster. You know, if you cut off the guy in the drive, then they're not going to get the one more pass for a wide open 3. It's really, really unfortunate. They had a lot of open 3s today. And, like, you know, Pritzl made like a 35-footer. And Aleem Ford, I don't know if he missed one today. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, you know, when they're making 3s and then you throw the ball down to Reavers, and Reavers I think is one of the best bigs in the Big Ten that gets no love at all. It's just like, man, like, and then Brad Davison hits 2 step backs. I mean, it's just like, it's hard to combat that, and good offense always beats good defense. That's just
kind of
a fact.
Kind of my last question for you, Joey, before we get to our interview with Scoonie. So Rutgers is coming off 2 losses, potentially 3. They're down 10 at home against Northwestern right now.
They haven't lost at home, right?
I don't know. I don't think so, but they've kind of come back down to earth a little bit, I'd say.
Yeah.
They lost at home to St. Bonaventure, but this would be their second home loss. They've come back down to earth a little bit. What do you think the Buckeyes need to do to take care of business at home against Rutgers in a game that, if the season ended after that game, would look like a really good win? Who knows what Rutgers is going to continue to do the rest of the season? What do you think the Buckeyes need to do to take care of business in that game? If you could pick one thing from what you've seen lately.
One thing with watching Rutgers this year is they are they're a momentum team. Like, they go on runs, they feed off their crowd at home especially. They don't play really well on the road. But I think one thing that they're really, really good with their starting big man, the guy with the big hair. Why am I forgetting his name? I think it's Shaq something. No, Shaq Carter's their backup. Miles something. He's outstanding. He's been awesome. But
Miles Johnson.
When he's in foul trouble, they are not as good. So obviously we got to throw the ball to Caleb. Let him go to work. I would love to see Caleb get some early shots, easy shots early. Not a 10-foot hook, a 5-foot hook, a layup, an up and under, something to just get him going and get his confidence back. Obviously, he's a tremendous player, and he's always confident. But then we got to make shots. Like, you think about the Villanova game, we came out making shots. We didn't stop. Same with Penn State. We came out making shots. We didn't stop. So, I would love to see a guy like Justin Ahrens at least take a couple threes. Like, he didn't even take any today.
Yeah.
So if I could pick one thing, I think it's establish Caleb early, because when Caleb plays well, we win. I just think being at home, having the home crowd, and a little home cooking with our rims, our stadium, will help our offensive struggles out a little bit, even though the offense has been better over this little win streak that we just came off of. But yeah, establish Caleb, get him going, make it easy. Try and not to fall into Rutgers' trap of trying to out-physical you and make it as much of a fist fight as possible. I think it's going to be a fun game. Rutgers is awesome. They're an awesome, awesome team. Geo Baker, their best player, comes off the bench now. It's fun. It's fun.
I don't think it would be terrible to get Dwayne Washington in there as early as possible. Maybe not necessarily start him, because the starting lineup is – I think you ride with this starting lineup for potentially the rest of the season. But Dwayne Washington, similar to Caleb, got to get him going. Because even if he doesn't sustain it for the full game, to get him going early, and like you talked about momentum, if you never let Rutgers get the momentum, then it could not be put away early, but you could feel good about the game. Ohio State does better when they're feeling good about themselves at halftime. That is such a key for all basketball. And today, even though 18 points, whatever, you can come back, like the game just felt over at halftime. And
it's hard to come back from 18 points.
And right, but it's not impossible. Holtman's not in the locker room saying this one's over.
No, I know.
But
I've been in locker rooms where the coach said this was over. It's
really
wild stuff. Yeah, at Indiana we were down like 30 at halftime. Yeah, literally 30, 44. It was 54 to 24, I think.
Mata?
Or like 44 to 14 even, like something just insane. And we get in there, and Coach Dickerson walks in and goes, "All right, fellas, now we're not going to win this game, but we're going to try and win the second half." And like stuff like that. And it's just like, man, that is not the pep talk we needed. But yeah, the only thing I'll disagree with is you don't have to get Dwayne Washington going. That is like, he's going to get his shots. He's such a talented offensive guy where he can get his shot whenever he wants to, it seems. So it's just
he needs to get going. That's what I meant. He needs to get himself going.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He's a confident dude. It stinks a little bit that Holtman's philosophy is if you're screwing up on defense, like, I can't keep you in there. I got to until you learn. And Dwayne has some defensive lapses, and it causes him some minutes. And I know that's frustrating, but in the long run, it'll benefit him. And he knows that, as frustrating as in the game. But he's as talented as a guy as we have on this team, and I'm excited to see him moving forward, because I think today was a little bit of a wake-up call, just to basically tell the team that their shit still stinks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they went on a 3-game winning streak. They're not all the way back. They're close. You know, and I'm happy for this team. I'm excited for this team. This one loss is not going to define the second half of the season. It's a big week this week, so we'll see what we're made of after this week.
Let's get to Scoonie. Great interview. His interview is brought to you by Threes Above High. If you're not going to the Rutgers game, go watch it at Threes Above High. Best atmosphere. David Dobrik loves it. I don't even know if he ever ended up going that one time. But Threes Above High, check it out. They're a sponsor of ours. We love them. Next time we're in Columbus together, we'll be grabbing a drink there. You guys should be watching your games there. All right, Scoonie Penn, buckle up, drive the lane. All right, we now welcome on to the Drive the Lane podcast, current assistant coach for the Memphis Grizzlies, Scoonie Penn. Scoonie, first question for you. Do you even know who's on your team right now?
Yeah, I know. Things got a little bit, just some changes, but for the most part, I know who's on our team right now.
Scoon, I miss you more than anything in the world. We got to talk a little bit Ohio State hoops before we dive into the Grizzlies.
Let's do it.
Without me on the team, did you expect them to be this good at the beginning and then to drop off the face of the earth? How much attention have you been paying to the team?
Oh, you know how I am with Ohio State. I pay all the attention. But it happened exactly like I knew it would. You know why? Because missing a guy like you and the fire and the enthusiasm, the joy you bring through the dog days, like, is missed. And there's not another Joey Lane, so it's only right that they had some slip-ups.
Yeah. Well, that's a great way to start this interview. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. For those, I think I've told the story on the podcast, but when I came my senior year of high school to visit, quote unquote, Ohio State and go to a game, I was sitting next to no one other than Scoonie Penn, Ohio State Hall of Famer, and Greg Oden, Ohio State Hall of Famer. We talked about it all the time. You remember that, right?
I remember clear as day. I remember the whole time sitting there talking to you. We talked about Jalen Brunson because that was the connection right away, who we just got done playing last night in Dallas. And then you told me about the relationship you had with him. And then next thing I knew, you were at Ohio State.
And so were you.
Yeah. In due time, I was, no doubt.
Yeah, it was so funny. I remember Holtman saying, "All right, guys, we're gonna introduce Scoonie here. Do any of you guys know Scoonie?" And everyone was, like JT and Caden knew you and stuff. And I was like, "Hell yeah, I know Scoonie. Who was with me on my visit." It's all coming full circle.
Yeah, you had a good visit.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So a little bit more about this team right now. What do you liking? What are you not liking? What do you think they need to do to kind of finish the season strong and build momentum heading into the postseason?
I know they went through some rough patches. I like the way they've come together the last couple games. We've all heard about what's going on with DJ Carton. I think the young man will be just fine. But that just shows you the strength of that team and the staff, that this team has come together and been playing really good basketball lately in a very tough conference. Right now I think the Big Ten has like 11 or 12 teams that possibly could make it into the tournament. And every night is a dogfight, as you know, in the Big Ten. And the guys have handled it well. I think what they definitely need to improve on is finding ways to score. That's been the Achilles heel. They've been able to stop teams, hold them to, 60 points. And if you hold teams 60 points, most of the time you should win. But we've been struggling scoring. Caleb had a big game the other night. You need a guy like Dwayne Washington, who we know can fill it up in a hurry, to come along, and he played well last game at Michigan. So, as time goes on, I know they'll get it right. They'll be able to score some baskets, and that should help out, defensively, because it's hard to make stop after stop after stop and not score any baskets.
After now being in an NBA locker room for a little while, are there any players on Ohio State that you see and you're like, you know what, that guy's got some NBA potential?
There's a few. Definitely there's guys with NBA talent. DJ Carton being one of them with his speed and athleticism. You look at a kid like Gaffney, who's very young with his length. Then Dwayne Washington, a kid who can score at a very high level. There's a number of guys, but again, this level is very different.
Yeah.
You have to be able to play a role, and you got to do your role very well. And everyone wants to be in the league. So if any of these guys on the current roster at Ohio State want to get on this level, they got a long way to go.
What do you think the most realistic ceiling is moving forward for this team? Whether it's how far they get in that Big Ten tournament and the NCAA tournament, what do you think the team ceiling is?
I think it's pretty high. I think they get together and have a good run at the end of the season. I think they can make some noise in the Big Dance. I expect them to make the NCAA tournament for sure. I think the Big Ten tournament is going to be wide open, and they have a chance, especially with some veteran guys like Caleb and Kyle Young who've been there. You have Dwayne and Luther now in their sophomore year. They have a chance to make some noise and have a pretty good run.
So now that you're in Memphis, Kyle Young is the definition of grit and grind.
Yeah, he is.
I think Memphis will just be all over him. Obviously, he's probably not going to be walking through any doors into the NBA, but he is grit and grind to the max.
He is. That's his role, and he plays to perfection. My assessment of this team is Kyle is the heart and soul of it.
Yeah.
He does all the dirty work, which he's done, since he arrived on campus. And he's a crowd favorite. He's personally one of my favorite. I always love, Kyle being around. His biggest thing is staying healthy. He stays healthy. He plays well.
It's funny how Jay Sean Tate like he is, where they don't have similar games, obviously, but not only it was hard for JT to stay healthy. He was obviously the heart and soul of our team. He plays super hard, and neither one of them can really make threes or free throws. So it's like it's a perfect comparison, right?
Yeah. JT left, and then Say comes in and does basically the same thing. But JT was missed when he left.
Oh yeah.
And he's awesome. He's having a good career so far. I expect to see him on this level one day.
I think so too. I think he's got something that not very many basketball players have, just that it factor. And it makes up for a lot of skill based things. Maybe like you see lottery picks fizzle out every single year. It's impossible for him to fizzle out.
Yes, he'd be fine. He'd be really fine. He's gonna have a good pro career.
Have you had the conversation with the higher ups at the Grizzlies about bringing him over to Memphis?
Well, JT signed so quick with the team overseas, it was hard to have the conversation. But the head coach really loves JT because he had JT when he was in Milwaukee before he had, I think he broke his finger.
Right.
And Taylor absolutely loved JT. He definitely would have been a guy that could have came to camp possibly. But, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Yeah. But I just hope JT lands in the league one day because that's his dream.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember I'm friends with JT's agent, and when the current coach got the job, I was like, oh, no way, that's the guy that loves JT. And then, boom, look at this. Then you come there, and it's like, who knows, maybe the stars will align. But that's neither here nor there. But I feel like it's a good transition.
Yeah, we got time for that.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like we should move on to your squad, the Grizzlies. Definitely the surprise of the West, if not the surprise of the NBA. Did you see this coming this fast for this young team?
We didn't as a staff, neither did anyone else. But we'll take it. We understand it can change quick, but we have a good group of guys. The reason why we've been successful was our guys play hard, first and foremost, and second, we've always had a good locker room, and that makes up for a lot. You know how that goes, being inside the locker room with good guys that get along with each other. That helps the court play, and that's what we've had, and that's helped us be successful. It doesn't hurt to have a guy like John Moran, who's an unbelievable rookie, and Jaren Jackson, who's coming to his own in his second year, and then Brandon Clark, another rookie, D'Anthony Melton, another rookie. We have some good young pieces, and they've been playing well.
Do you ever give Jaren shit about when we 30-piece them at home when they were the number one team?
Oh, all the time. Okay, all the time. Right away. I give it to them all the time. So when we meet up here soon, there's someone on the line because, football, we handle our business.
Right.
And I think we'll do the same in basketball.
It's so funny. I still have a video of when he fouled Keita and won, something like that. And he put his hands on his head and was freaking out because it was his fourth foul. And I mimicked him and walked up the bench with him as he was walking to his bench. I'm gonna have to find that video and send it to you because it's really funny.
Yeah. Oh, please send it to me because I will give it to him so he can check it out and see how we whipped their ass when we played them in our gym.
Yeah.
He can come on the show and defend himself after.
Oh, he would definitely do that. But there's not much he can defend. The loss is a loss.
Well, we'll be down and around the All-Star festivities next weekend, so maybe we'll run into him before the Rising Stars game and give him a little shit.
Yeah, please do so. I think he would like that.
Yeah, running him down like, wait. We're Scoonie's friends. It's all right.
Yeah, we don't want a picture. We just want to make fun of you for Ohio State beating you by 30 that one time.
Oh, he'll get a kick out of that. That's the kind of personality he has. Great kid. Love being around him.
So when this feels like hours ago, when the stuff kind of started going down with Iguodala, do you guys have a conversation with the players like, hey, don't go to social media, hey, don't do this, or you kind of just step back and let adults be adults?
Yeah, you step back, let adults be adults. The business part handles itself. We as coaches, we do our job coaching and all that works itself out. That's just the way the business rolls, and I think it worked out pretty well.
And if I know you well enough, Scoonie, you were fired up when you saw what Dylan Brooks said, right?
Oh, yeah, I was. Yeah. He likes to talk shit, so that was a good one.
That was
It
so
was a really good one.
The first thing I thought about was, oh, man, Scoonie might have told him to say that.
No, I wouldn't tell him to do that. That's on his own.
It is
That
fun.
young man did it on his own merit.
I think it is funny that there's such a huge difference between monitoring people on social media. Obviously, in the NBA, they're adults, and you would be silly to try and, corral them and stuff. Whereas Coach Pito would always tell me what to delete tweets and stuff, and I'd be like, Pito, like, come on, man, it's funny. Like, just relax.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah. Grown men making a lot of money. You can't tell them what to do.
Exactly.
You can be honest with us because not that many people listen to this. There was a little bit of a sigh of relief when Iggy got traded to Miami and you saw that there was no Heat Grizzlies matchup left on the schedule, right?
No, not at all. I wouldn't have cared if there was, to be honest with you. But it didn't work out that way, and good for him, I guess. Because our guys wanted that smoke, though, I'll tell you that.
Oh, I can only imagine. I think for those of you that haven't really watched the Grizzlies, which obviously we have a huge Ohio audience, and there's not many Grizzly games to watch, this not only is the team doing super well, they're insanely fun to watch because they are a group of guys who are studs and guys who are passed up and stuff. So it's an incredible combo, and there's no doubt that they would have came out and tried to murder Iguodala.
Yeah, he would have felt it, and it's tough. He's a great pro. Nothing bad to say about Iggy. It was business at the end of the day, and it's all worked out now, so we're fine.
Exactly. Yeah, it did work out to his benefit and definitely your guys' benefit because you guys got some more young talent to go with your great young core. So I think you guys are set for a little bit to be competitive. That's for sure.
Last
yes,
question.
We are.
Last question from me because I know you're busy. Is Valanciunas the most underrated player in the league?
No, definitely not. But he's good though. If he can play, but definitely not the most underrated.
Okay, who's the hardest going into a game? Who's the hardest guy that you guys have to game plan for? Whether that's toughest matchup, whatever that might be.
I don't know. That can vary. I mean, I guess every night there's going to be one. So just got to figure it out. Giannis is one for sure. LeBron is another one. So, there's Kawhi. There's a bunch of them.
And Jalen.
Kyrie. No, not even. But he's good, though. He's good, though. I like him.
It's funny you said Giannis and LeBron because we have a TV on in the background, and they're doing their little draft for the All-Star game, and they picked Giannis picked all Eastern Conference guys, and LeBron picked all Western Conference guys, at least for the starters. So there's no point in having a draft.
It should be a fun one.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, it should be fun.
LeBron's team is incredible. So
never been.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, hopefully we get Ja and or Jaren in that game next year.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, Ja Morant is he's must-watch television, though. So, I mean, he's incredible, and I don't have to tell you that. But
if the Grizzlies were much-watch television before with you being on the sidelines, they're definitely must-watch television now.
Yeah, whatever, Joey.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Oh, he's been around you long enough.
Yeah, I know I'm rubbing off on him. That's my fault. All right, Scoon, before we let you go, you got any questions for us?
Man, I just want to know how he puts up with you every day.
You know what this guy said the other day? You know what this guy said the other day?
What's that?
He said
What's that?
That there's not a single athlete in the world that can beat him in every single sport.
When I discovered cheesesteaks.
He might be right. I don't know about that, but we've had these conversations. But you have to understand, maybe not all sports, but just say it doing everything. So I had this conversation with someone.
Exactly.
He might beat in checkers, or it could be chess. It could be I don't know, dice or whatever. But if you talk,
you're so right. You're spot on.
Yeah. So I give it to Joe. He might be right in that sense.
Scoonie, you rubbed off on me because if we had this, guys, if for everyone listening, me and Scoonie probably argued about something every single day, but
Definitely.
If I would have said to you, Scoonie, there's no way that there's someone like Steph Curry, for example, because obviously he's a great basketball player, he's a great golfer, he's just a great athlete. I still think there's something that I could beat him in, just like I'm sure you feel the same way, right? So it's easy.
Oh, 100%, and I agree with you. So yeah, we right on that.
Yes, thank
we
you.
We agree for sure.
Thank you.
No,
that's great to hear.
No, other than that, I don't have no questions at all, man. I'm just happy you're doing what you're doing. And I can say I was on there way back when because it's going to blow up one day. So
Absolutely.
Let's keep pushing the needle.
I'll answer one of the questions for you that I know is in your head. We'll happily have John Jaron on in a combo episode whenever they want. I know you were going to ask.
All right, cool. That works. Yeah, I was definitely going to ask that. You got to do that.
All right, Scoonie, you're the man. Thank you. Good luck the rest of the season. I'll see you soon.
All right. Take care, fellas.
All right, buddy. Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Drive the Lane podcast. As we mentioned in the intro, please buy our shirts. We would love it if you do, and you would love it if you do. Great Valentine's Day gift, speaking of love. Head to highstreettees.com/DTL and use our promo code DTL15 to get those shirts. Hopefully next time we talk to you, Ohio State will not have had another loss. But there's no guarantees in the Big Ten.
Big week.
And there's no guarantees in the world of college basketball.
I don't know if we have to win both, but, man, if we don't win both, that would be like, dang. It would be like,
yeah.
Dang.
We've always kind of said, like, 20 wins because of the beginning of the season they had is getting this team into the tournament. That's 4-4 for the rest of the season. Doable.
Oh, my God. So, okay, because we have – I can tell you some of the wins that we're going to have off the top of my head. Even though I know I went through it last time and just said every game was a win.
Yeah.
But I was kind of right, wasn't I? I got the first three right.
Kind of right.
I think that
at Iowa's going to be tough.
Yeah, at Iowa's tough, but at Nebraska hopefully will be a win.
At Michigan State will be tough.
At Michigan State we're not going to win.
Home versus Illinois will be tough.
Yeah, just
home
like
versus Maryland will be maybe tough.
But those
there's
are
definitely
winnable.
There's 4 wins on here.
Yeah, if we win these 2 home games, then you guys can all take a deep sigh of relief because that goes a long way. These 2 home games. So yeah, we appreciate you guys listening. Hopefully you guys are buying our shirts. We're enjoying doing this. All-Star Weekend is this weekend for us out here in Chicago. So hopefully we can get some fun guys that are in town for All-Star Weekend. We're working on that.
I'm giving a small shout-out to maybe our biggest fan. All right, interacts with us on Twitter all the time. If you listen to the end of this,
tweet us again.
Josh Schaffner, big fan. We appreciate all the love and support from you, man. We wanted to give you a shout-out. Thanks for being a big fan. Thanks to all our fans, but Josh Schaffner, you are the best fan.
Right, exactly. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, I have my Team USA stuff this weekend, so
we'll have an update for you on that next week.
Yeah, I feel really under the weather the past 4 days and haven't worked out a lot, so I'm kind of nervous. but it's all right. I'll get back on the grind tomorrow.
Buckle up.
Yeah, I'm just right now. If you guys are still listening to this, shout out to me because I'm really tired.
Yeah, we need to go to bed.
This is not a, I do it for you guys. I get out of bed for you guys, for the Drive the Lane. We should give our fans a nickname.
The Lanes. We'll figure it out before next episode. Buckle up. Drive the Lane. Hope you enjoyed the Oscars.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Letterman Live, we've got the practice report, we got rapid reaction. Hey, and we got Buckeye IQ with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Berm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.